Welcome back to Smart Money's Fresh Minds. I'm Wesley.
And I'm Joe. Today we're getting to a key concept that most people overlook, and it can mean thousands more in your pocket over time.
We're talking about asset allocation versus asset location. They sound really similar, but they do very different jobs in your financial plan.
Asset allocation is simply the mix of investments you own, how much you hold in stocks, bonds, and cash. And typically people think a 60-40, which is 60% stock, 40% bonds. If you're a high risk taker, you could be 90% stock and 10% bonds. And now we're also looking at alternative investments, crypto ETFs, and there's a lot more allocations out there that people might not be aware of.
And asset allocations is guided by your goals, timeline, and risk tolerance. It's really the foundation of long-term investing, and diversification really helps reduce risk and capture growth throughout your financial journey.
And to get to Wesley's point, everyone talks about allocation. Few talk about what's coming next.
Asset allocation is where your investments live, which accounts you choose to hold them in, which is a really important topic.
Different accounts are taxed differently. You have taxable accounts like a brokerage. You have tax-deferred accounts like a 401k, a traditional IRA, which could also be referred to as pre-tax accounts. And then there's tax-free accounts, which be looked as a Roth IRA.
And it's also really important that just like asset allocation, it depends on your goals, because if we tell you to put everything in a traditional IRA or Roth IRA and you want to retire early, well, that does you a real disservice, because you want to retire early and you can't access that money until 59 and a half. So putting the right investments in the right accounts can also reduce taxes and increase after-tax returns without changing your overall investment mix, as long as your goals are aligned with that. Some investments have the potential to create a bunch of tax drag, like
international equity funds. There's foreign tax withholding and higher dividends to look at. There's actively managed funds with high turnover. And then you have high yield bonds, which is taxed at ordinary income. These are typically belong in tax advantage accounts. Meanwhile, more tax efficient investments like U.S. stock ETFs could really work well in taxable accounts with lower capital gain taxes.
And let's remember, the Roth IRAs are the best place for high growth investments. This is because you pay the tax up front, and then when you go to withdraw that money, you don't pay any taxes. After 59 and a half, it's tax free. So when you pull it out after, you could have, a 300-400% gain and pay no tax on it. But if you had it in a traditional IRA, they're great for income producing and stable assets, because when you go to pull money out of a traditional IRA, you pay ordinary income after you're 59 and a half and you go to pull the money out. So if you have a really high growth investment in there, then you're going to be paying more tax on that.
Let's paint a picture. Chris has a 401k, a Roth IRA, and a taxable brokerage account. He's saving well, but his asset allocation is backwards. Right now, he has international funds in a taxable brokerage account. He has municipal bonds in a traditional IRA, and Wesley can talk about how this is inefficient.
So to Joe's point, this is actually inefficient because international funds create more taxes every year, and munis in an IRA, they lose their tax-free benefit because an IRA withdrawals are taxed later. And we don't want to have munis in an IRA because they're already tax efficient. We can have those, and they get a lower yield because you don't pay federal taxes on them. So you can have them in your taxable account, and then you can have, if you have it in an IRA, you want to have it something that creates a higher yield for you.
So here's how we fix it. You have high turnover in international funds parked in a traditional IRA or 401k, depending on if you can do a rollover with your 401k into an IRA, which could avoid tax drag and defer income. And then you have high growth stocks, which could be parked in a Roth IRA, and you can maximize that tax-free compounding. And then you have the tax-efficient ETFs and munis, which is parked in a taxable account, and that keeps tax benefits and liquidity for the client.
So same strategy, same risk, a better after-tax outcome. This is where planning comes together, because we're just putting the pieces in the right place.
So here's how to start improving your own setup. Identify all your accounts. Move tax-heavy investments into an IRA or 401k, depending on what your 401k offers. You could move tax-efficient investments into taxable accounts and review yearly, or depending on how your goals are, you could review quarterly or even twice a year. And tax laws and goals can always change.
I want you to think of this as a free upgrade to your investment strategy. And we didn't have any extra contributions. We didn't take any more risk. We just changed things around to save money on taxes.
So remember, asset allocation grows your wealth.
And asset location helps you keep more of it after taxes.
If you're not sure your investments are sitting in the right accounts,
We're happy to help review what you have and make sure your dollars are where they should be.
Reach out to us today at Black Diamond Financial Solutions and make sure to follow the show for more smart money moves, fresh minds episodes.